What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
And did you guys guess correctly as to where we'll be today? Because our settings are
Ever-changing.
ever crispicizing. It feels crispy in here.
It does. Like a nice fried chicken.
That's true. Because this is for the greater...
I thought you were going to go... This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And that is what Husarius576 did. He asks, since Vindicar assassins are rather valuable assets, are they augmented biologically? For example, how long can they live? That's a good question.
Right. Now, is he talking about the Temple of Assassins or just like a regular like bounty hunter type thing?
No, the Vindicare assassin temple, dude.
I must have blanked.
I get it, because
blanks in 40K? Boom, boom.
Because there's an assassin temple, too, that is full of blanks, right?
Yeah, they're made to fight against psychers.
Yeah, so assassins they can live indefinitely because of a thing called cryosleep.
Right. Essentially, that's what Walt Disney is doing right now.
Yeah.
But that's also what the Tao do with like their commanders, because Tao live 40 years.
That's nothing.
That's nothing, yeah. And like you've had thousands of years where you've had like Shadow Sun and Farsight out there. Well, Farsight's different. But yeah, they do cryo sleep. Wake them up when they need them, unless you've got a sword that eats the lifespan of what you kill and puts it on you.
Then you can live forever.
Yeah, but when it comes to assassins, yes, they're put in stasis, cryo sleep until they're needed for their next big hit.
Yep.
Speaking of big hits, what do you think is the biggest person/thing that an assassin has ever assassinated?
So I think it was during the Horus Heresy, they assassinated, they thought it was Horus, but it was like Horus's first captain or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a really important character to the Sons of Horus, but not that important to the point where like they fleshed out his backstory.
Yeah.
He had a purpose to die.
Or you could say that maybe it was none other than the Primarch of the Night Lords. Because it's implied that he let himself get got. But I don't know. I mean, the Night Hunter, he saw too much. He was plagued with visions. And it seems like he just gave up and allowed the assassin to fulfill its duty.
Maybe. I still hope that he is still alive somewhere out there.
Mm-hmm.
Bit creepy.
Yeah, maybe he fell in love with the assassin and the assassin let him go. But they meet up every now and then on like a Tuesday evening for burros and heroes.
Yes. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Both the assassin and the heroes.
That's true.
Next question.
This one is by NVD77764. Would you like to see the flayed ones fleshed out? Pun intended. For example, more models or more lore on Valgul and his bone kingdom of Drazek, or the Flayer kings like Sata the Enfleshed.
I personally would not know. I think the other aspects of the Necron are way more interesting. Like the War in Heaven, the Silent King, the, what is it called? The Pariah Nexus.
Void Dragon,
yeah.
Los Tucanes del Norte.
All of that.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it would be cool to have like a named Flesh Terror dude.
Yeah.
And you could have like a whole unit of Flesh Terrors. And the thing about them is that they're loco, man. They crazy.
They are.
And that's why they skin people.
They're mindless.
Mm-hmm. Literally, because they're literally skeletons with programming.
Yep.
But it is an interesting concept that like a lot of times the Necron dynasties, there you go, use them as like a cleanup crew. Like they'll either put them out as like fodder, or they'll let these flayed ones go in after they've already killed like civilizations, and they basically just flesh the dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, why not use them as like almost like guerrilla warfare, like a shock and awe troop? Because it would be scary to just see green fluorescent lights in the sky, and then you know that, oh crap, if these things catch me, I'm not gonna die a quick painless death. These things are gonna zipper me up or down.
Yeah. It's like Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. With what was it, the Boltons?
Yeah. They flayed people.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
Woo-ha! At their golden age, which race developed the most powerful weapons? I'm talking about small arms, tanks, ships, and weapons of mass destruction.
I think that one has to go for the Necrons.
Definitely. Maybe because we were already talking about the Necrons and they're in our mind.
Well, no, because like even what is that one? That's like a ball.
The celestial orrery that can. It's basically the Death Star. Really, it blows up planets and whatnot.
Yeah, and you said it. I mean, that truly is a weapon of mass destruction.
Not just that, but Necrons are able to like
bend physics.
phase through matter and stuff like that. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier with like UFOs.
Yeah.
Where it's like the government basically said UFOs exist. Like Xenos are out there.
Yep.
And like you were talking about how they actually shot live ammunition at like UFOs and it's like
did nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I think they have more control over their technology. Whereas like if you look at the Eldar, it's like they rely on the warp, which is still a little bit like magical. The Imperium doesn't know shit. They're praying to machines. So yeah, I think the Necrons have a good grasp of what's going on with their weapons.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's like the Imperium. It's like, oh, here's this awesome thing of like mass destruction, but how does it work? I don't know.
Yeah,
I pray to it, and it does things.
When you press this button, a little man pops out. Next question comes from Brian B. Do you think the Emperor told Gilliman that the lion is alive and taking a nap at the rock? We talked about this in a previous episode.
Yeah. Probably not. And if he did, he said, "Don't wake him up till later."
Yeah,
he gets cranky.
Don't wake him up until GW needs more money.
Needs to sell Primarchs.
Yeah.
Which I thought they were going to be doing this like an almost, if not every year thing, like every other year. Because I mean, we had Magnus and then Gilliman and then Mortarion, like almost back to back to back, and then it's like nothing.
Hopefully, it's like per edition. So we're in 9th edition, hopefully 10th edition, which half the armies don't even have a codex, but
yeah, and it's like COVID really messed up things. So
we'll blame COVID.
Yeah, right. We'll see what happens with the rest of 9th edition and 10th.
Yeah. They should have just created PDFs. Like even if you still had to pay for it, just have it out there. But whatever.
Speaking of paying for it, did you hear about the new subscription-based thing for their animation shows?
No.
Yeah, so Warhammer 40K, or Warhammer Community, put out an article yesterday, or a few days ago, whenever you're watching this video, that, they're making essentially a streaming service where you guys can watch animations for 40K and stuff like that. So they've confirmed that they're making an Astartes 2. They've got I want to say it's 8 more other animations planned to come out, and it's like a monthly subscription fee, and they'll also give you other stuff besides just the animations. They didn't really go into detail as to what other tidbits, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be like painting tutorials, like army showcases, that kind of thing. And my question to you guys is, does this interest you? Does this seem like a service that you're willing to pay monthly to see and get via Warhammer 40K? Because we've seen the mess that was the Warhammer app.
Yeah.
And if it's gonna be anything like that, I'm not excited.
I wonder how GW or how Mini Wargaming feels, because you just described the vault.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the exact same thing, but instead of posting animations, they post battle reports and different things. But this is even if it's a subscription-based thing, GW can contact us YouTubers too and say, hey, want to create exclusive content and actually be part of this world,
but at the cost of your channel or whatever.
Well, not necessarily, because when Mini Wargaming, to this day, I think you could still contact Mini Wargaming and you can do something for their vault and still keep your YouTube channel. And because that's what the Astarte guy is doing too. He's creating Astarte 2, but then he already said he's doing his own side projects too. So, yeah, Mini Wargaming was years ahead of GW.
That's everybody's years ahead of GW. I mean, look at the other Scribe app that is way better than what the...
Oh, yeah, Battlescribe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Battlescribe, why couldn't I remember it? Because that's everything the app should be for the Warhammer app.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am really excited for the animations, the the little shows that they've got planned. I want to watch those. But I don't know if they could come out with enough content monthly to warrant a subscription type thing.
Yeah, and also, how are they going to, like, fight the whole stealing and just posting it on, like, YouTube or other sites?
Right.
We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But it's exciting.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm definitely excited to see, like, because the art style for a lot of these things are very, like, Castlevania / grimdarky, and it looks really good.
Yeah. This question comes from Dominator 407. Unless you guys are in Australia or you guys have a zoo next door, that's not a kookaburra. It doesn't even sound like one. Last week we were outside and there was a bird and we were trying to ask you guys what that bird was. And you said a kookaburra.
Yeah, but Jamie Klassen says that the answer is that bird call is actually a cardinal.
Oh, really?
That's what he says.
Yeah, I saw like 4 cardinals that day. So, wow, they sound really loud. We even bought a birdhouse with specific, what are they called? Like the sunflower or sunflax seeds or whatever. Because cardinals like them. But now my dogs chase them away.
This one's by Oscar Dighton. What are your thoughts on that new Necromunda video game, Hired Gun?
I've been itching to play a video game, like any video game. So, it seems cool.
Yeah. It looks better than previous like first-person shooters and whatnot that they've thrown out there. But I think the one I'm really looking forward to is Dark Tide. Because that really seems to encompass more of that grim, dark, like scary, like there's no hope feel of 40K.
Yeah.
Whereas Necromunda, you see all these crazy like gangs and like the neon colors and spray paints and stuff like that. While still cool, but I prefer the other aesthetic.
You have like cholos walking around.
Yeah, that's basically it.
With their knee socks.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they're called?
Sock knees.
Sock knees. This question comes from Pleasant Power Napper. Am I allowed to ask more than one question? Yeah.
Strictly. Never allowed.
Never. Next one.
Simontis. Are there any factions of the Imperium that the Inquisition cannot actually act against in any way, shape, or form? The only things that come to mind is the Emperor, the Custodes, and maybe the Sisters of Silence, just because they're all kind of, in my opinion, they're all lumped together.
Yeah, even though I think they have had...
They've had like spats and disputes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, if these guys can go up to like the Grey Knights and be like, hey, stop.
Yeah.
And then also with the Space Wolves, to the point where like they're going to cause a freaking like battle. Like, what's stopping these guys?
Yeah, I think they're just like free agents and they can kind of do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Also, because they have that freedom, they might be able to pick a fight with the Adeptus Custodes, but they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations too.
But it's like, I feel like what they have is like, we could turn like this whole subsector against you guys.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, bring it on.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, we can destroy Primaris Space Marine chapters. Like, what are you guys going to do?
Exactly.
Because they're backed by the Emperor. Like, who's telling them no? But then they could just outright label them heretics, and now it's like, you got a whole civil war going on.
I'm pretty sure somebody steps in at some point. Usually, like, because what they do with the Inquisition is that they have Inquisition conclaves where they all get together and they're like the Puritans and the Radicals both say like, yes, this person was in the right by doing that, or no, this person was not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Donkeysaurus Rex says, could the Imperium capture orc spores, grow them into adults on a specifically built ship capable of keeping all of them restrained and isolated, and then convince them all of something that isn't true? For example, that the Emperor has recovered from his injuries in order to harness the power of the WAAAGH to make it so.
No, because like orcs have a biological intelligence. It's like in their genes. They just know certain things. And also like... they don't care about the Emperor. They don't care about a leader that is not like in their face. So no.
Right. The big one asks, when are you guys going to drop your OnlyFans? No kink shaming here. Stay tuned for the Warhammer animations.
Yeah. That's our contribution to all that.
Yeah. Warhammer After Dark.
Next question.
This one's by Eternal Howl. Do the Tau have any schools or teachers for their psyker populations? For the most part, whenever the Tau takes control of a world, a race, a species, they do have like indoctrination schools, camps, where they're basically teaching these lesser beings, these primitives, of what the greater good is. And I'm sure, just like any other races, there are some psychers there, and they get told and taught. So yes.
Yeah, but they probably also leave it to certain factions that are already like compliant with the greater good, like the, what are they called? The giant floating polar bears. Well, those guys.
Yeah.
They're a really powerfully psychic auxiliary force,
Mm-hmm.
so they probably also help in the training process and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. This one's by TSL Frontman. A Grey Knight rolled too many ones and fell into a hole. He cannot reach his teleporter homing button on his suit. While he's stuck there, could Chaos Harbingers walk up and taint him? And if so, what would that turn him into?
Well, I mean, it's a great night, so no.
Yeah, there has been zip, zero, nada, not one Grey Knight who has fallen to Chaos since the inception of the Grey Knights. So, as previous events have seen, no, you can't corrupt a Grey Knight.
Yep.
That's why they're able to wield demon weapons and not get corrupted. That's why they're able to go into literal demon worlds, go into the warp, and not fall to the temptations of chaos.
Those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. I wonder where we're going to be next week. Guess in the comment section below. Don't say something gay. This is Gershwin,
The Sound Alchemist, and we are out.
Oh, I used to put my